Hey everybody, this is your old buddy Jacomo here, and today I'm going to be talking about a comic that I just read called The Unholy Grail. You guys may not know this, but I am what I consider to be a multifaceted geek. I'm into like role-playing games and the board games, and I read a lot of comics, and I watch a lot of weird movies, and I listen to a lot of weird music, and I want to take this opportunity to use my YouTube channel to talk about some of the things I love. And so this week, today, I'm going to be talking about comics. If you're into Pathfinder or D&D or that sort of thing, you may already know a little bit about La Mort d'Arthur, which is like the Arthurian legend. And if you don't know about it through like the book, you may know it through like movies or TV shows, or at least that like King Arthur and the Knights of Justice show from the 1990s. Unholy Grail was written by Cullen Bunn, who wrote for Harrow County, and it's got art by this person who's got the coolest name I've ever heard, like ever. It's Mirko Colak. Unholy Grail, it tells the story of Arthur through like this creepy, horror-y POV. Like it's less grimdark and more creepy dark. Like real creepy and kind of gross. It starts with the idea of Merlin being like a demon, which is a pretty cool idea. Like Merlin is always acting kind of sus in the real stories anyway, and WizBiz is always kind of sketchy because wizards, they make plans that most normies cannot fathom. So it's easy for them to hide evil things that look good. Because they plan way ahead, and they have all kinds of wackadoo plans. Well, the demon, it literally wears Merlin's skin. Like, it kills the Merlin, who's like a normal dude, or like, kind of a wizard guy, maybe a druid or something, and he kills him, and he puts his skin on. And all he wants to do is sow misery and make like life terrible for people. And because he's a demon, like, that's totally reasonable, like, motivation. So in the first, like, really gross thing, the demon uses Arthur Pendragon, who's Arthur's dad, like he's a puppet, and he's like, he sticks his hand in him, and he's like, yeah, I want Arthur to be king, yo. And so, like, there's lots of unhappy knights and would-be kings that are like, no, we don't want to follow no little boy. And then the sword in the stone, oh my God, is the creepiest thing. The creepiest sword in the stone ever. And then there's a curse on it, and that whole thing is epic. And then Arthur is hidden like Luke Skywalker because he's a baby. But, like, Merlin visits him a lot, unlike Obi-Wan, who just sort of abandoned Luke, which I have feelings about Obi-Wan. Like this demon's a better mentor than Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan, dude, you got to grow up and, like, take charge. Man, maybe you'll do better in your Disney Plus series, like, redeem yourself, criminal. Anyways, so Arthur grows up, and Merlin gets him to make sacrifices to the Lady in the Lake. She's like this Cthulhu monster, and, because it's always Cthulhu monsters in this kind of thing. And she's got the boobies, but she's also got the tentacles. And she is Litz, the spirit of the land, which makes more sense in the original version with the whole health of the king melts the land healthy thing. That's really bougie in my opinion. And I like the whole, he made a deal with this land spirit, and the whole thing's going to blow up in his face real bad. The deal he makes, he gets to be, like, for real the king. Like, he's already killed most of his contenders anyway. But, he gets to be the king, but he can't love anybody else but the Lady in the Lake. And right there, that's like kind of real deep stuff. Like in that, Cullen Bunn is telling like this whole like idea that kings don't necessarily have to care for their people, which I'm like, whoa, man, that's something. Because it's my opinion that kings should care. Like, our leaders should care about us, but, like, frequently they don't. So, like, good on you, Bun Man. Bun Dude. Bun. And then, because, things gotta happen the way they do, Guinevere shows up like the tilt in a game of fiasco. She is beauty. She is grace. She makes Arthur fall in love with her face. He tries to keep distance and stuff, but it's clear that he loves her, and he's torn by his vow to the Lady of the Lake. So we end up getting Gwen kidnapped by these, like, demony things, and of course Merlin is at the root of the whole problem. And it's at this moment that the whole Gwen, Lancelot, and Arthur love triangle really starts. Now, I would have liked more of an intro to Lance from France. There's only so many issues in this thing, so I get the idea that that everything can have all the time that it needs, but a little more of Lance from France would go a long way. Lance and Gwen get all physical and stuff. Which, there's shame and there's lust and there's all that sort of thing. And then we get, like, the big payoff, which is creepy birth number 1. Gwen asexually reproducing Morgana. No. Gross. So gross. It's whoa. Just whoa. Nope, do not want. So, folks, this is less gross, I'm going to say, than the original story where Arthur and Morgana were related and they had an incest baby. Like, you can throw all the horrible entrails and, like, bleeding effluvia in my face, but anything's better than the incest baby. So, this does go in kind of like a wackadoo way, though. So, hang on tight. So, of course, Merlin stirs the pot, because that's what a Merlin does. And Arthur finds out in the most voyeuristic and uncomfortable way that Lancelot and Guinevere have been being nasty. And so he gets seduced by Morgana. Now, I didn't mention Morgana, when she came out of Guinevere, she's like full person. So weird, but it works. Is what it is. So now Arthur and Morgana, they kind of like they get gross too. Like they do the nasty too. But it's Guinevere who pays the price for infidelity. Now, this is gross, because this is like the kettle and pot calling each other names, but only one of them gets in trouble for it. But that is for now, because this is going to get soap opera crazy. Arthur has Guinevere burned at the stake. What? Just like, what? No, this is ridiculous. So he's going to have her burned at the stake for exactly the thing he just got done doing. That's baloney. Like, full on Oscar Mayer baloney. With juniper berries and all that. Everything. It's gross. It's wrong. And it makes me want to... nah. Anyway, so there's like this most super stressful series of scenes with Guinevere strapped to the stake being burnt. And eventually Arthur's like, I gotta stop this. And he starts saying like, oh, stop it. And then Lancelot comes charging on his horse. And he's like, I'm gonna actually stop it. Because Arthur, you a douche. I'm sorry about that. But Arthur is kind of a douche here. So Lancelot saves her. And he takes her away. And now they go to the countryside and they check out the story, but they're going to make a baby and we never see it. I want to know what happened to that baby. Because chances are it's some kind of gross baby, because there are a lot of gross babies in this whole thing. But, so when they check out the story, we get gross birth number 2, Mordred. And his birth My gosh. If you thought Morgana being born was gross, he is grosser. It's like two or three pages of panels with the most hideously gross afterbirth and like just everything's horrible. It's bad. It's bad. It's gross. But I loved it because it kind of works. You know, like you get this full-grown baby man, and he meets Arthur, and Arthur's like, "Son, I'm here to kill you," and Mordred's all like, "Go," and Arthur's like, "I can't kill you. I can't kill you. Everything's gone wrong." And Merlin's all like, "How about you go find the Holy Grail?" And Arthur's like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Mr. Merlin, who's done nothing but screw up my entire life ever since I met you, and now everything's horrible and bad, and now I just keep doing the things that you keep suggesting. Gee, bus. Arthur, stop. Trust in the Merlin. I don't care." So, Arthur wants to fix the land. Arthur wants to fix everything he's done wrong, which I kind of commend. You know, like he's trying to make good. But he does the thing, he follows the demon's advice and goes for the search of the Holy Grail. Now, you and me, being people who are reading the book, we already know that this whole Grail quest is hogwash. Like, Merlin is sending them on it just for the giggles, mostly the giggles, and a little bit of the shit. And so now we end up figuring out that the Grail isn't going to do anything. It's not going to save anybody. It's not going to change anything. Like we've seen in flashbacks before it even matters, that Percival is like croaked when he brings the Grail back. You know, so it is what it is, I guess. And next thing you know, we sort of skip to Mordred and Arthur killing each other in a big battle. How about that? So Lance and Gwen come, and they're back, and they don't have their baby. Gosh knows what happened to that thing. And so we end up having them laying the smack down on Merlin. And Gwen dies. Mordred's dead. Arthur's dying. And Lancelot's the only one that's kind of okay. And so in the end, we get this really moving scene between Lance from France and Arthur. And next thing you know, you get the most like borderline terrifying and creepy thing, which is what happens when Arthur brings back Excalibur to the Lady in the Lake. And I don't want to think about it. It's just, nope, no, do not, no, it's gross. And that's the end. So, what did I think? Well, I thought it was good. The colors by Maria Santolaya, they're amazing. I love the palette so much, especially the reds and the blues and the purples. She did work on the Brothers Dracul, which is why I actually bought this series. It has a ton of appeal to me. And if I had a comic, I'd be like, yo, skilled artist, I need color up in this. And they'd probably be like, who are you? And I'd be like, I'm a skilled creator of comics, and I need color, and it'd be all cool if you put some color in it. And they'd be like, cool, man. Put some color in your comic. It'd be awesome. Mirko Colak, coolest name. Their art is good. There's some really gross moments that are great. Some subtle, some less subtle. And there's this like one panel with Merlin licking his lips, and it just made me gross. Gross man. Ew, just about to take a shower thinking about it. The pencils that he did, they look almost like a whole other book before the colors are applied, which I kind of would like to see both this in its original form and its form in the color, you know? I like both. Cullen Bunn does a good job with the story. It's familiar, but the changes are interesting. It doesn't stray too far from the original, but it gives new context, and I like that. It could have like phoned it in and just gone like way off the rails and done whatever. Or he could have just not changed a ton of stuff. But this really does what it promises to do. It refrains a story that you already know in a way that's really creepifying. I do wish that it had more room to breathe and grow. The series is only 5 issues long and it's about 100 pages of stories, so there isn't a lot of room to develop all the characters and advance the plot and create tense scenes and all that without making a lot of cuts and jumps. The cover does say Volume 1, but the story is pretty much told. So I don't know where or when Volume 2 will go, or even if it will be a thing. If they had more room to get into the drama, it would have been nice. But this feels like get in, tell a story, get out. Which is fine, I guess, but it left me wanting more. Did I like it? Yeah. Is it for everyone? No. If you don't know the Arthur story, you're gonna have a bad time. If you're looking for well-developed characters, you're gonna find that some are lacking. And the bones of something really great are here, but it needs more meat, in my opinion, and not just like gross meat. Like good meat, healthy meat. Meat for the soul. My rating for it, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I'd say it's a 3 for most folks, but for me, something resonated that makes it more memorable, and it's worth the bump up to a little bit above average. So what do you think? Have you read Unholy Grail? What were your thoughts? And do you think I should do more of these here comic reviews? I read lots of weird, obscure stuff, but sometimes I mainstream it too, just not as much as others do. Yeah, that's all. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell, and tell your friends. And we'll see you next time. Bye.